here. So hello, my name is Nicole Jones from Techsoup. I will be your host today, and we're going to go ahead and get started here on this webinar, Where Do Nonprofits Go to Get NPO Specific Questions Answered? So we've got some fantastic presenters here with us today. I'm going to introduce them in just a bit. So a little bit about this webinar. Whether you're looking for digital engagement advice, leadership discussions, software guidance, online volunteering, or networking, we have trusted networks for you and your nonprofit to join. So stick around to learn more what that looks like in action. But first, just a little bit of housekeeping here. So you've probably already noticed that your line is muted, but fear not. If you need to get our attention, you can go ahead and message us in chat. It's also the water cooler for this nonprofit webinar, where you can share other resources that come to mind for you. It's a really great peer-to-peer space, as are some of the other spaces we're going to talk about in just a bit today on our webinar. So you can also use a Q&A feature to ask questions. That's actually the best place to ask questions because you'll get to see other attendee questions and you can upvote for your favorite ones. And that's more or less the order that we'll take those questions in. So make sure you're familiar with where your Q&A functionality is on this Zoom webinar. So it's 2 message bubbles. So that's the best place to ask your questions. And lastly, you're going to receive an email with all of our resources from today. So that includes the replay, the slides, any links mentioned. You're going to get that nicely bundled together for you in a post-event email. So anything you might have missed, fear not, we will have that for you in an email within a couple business days. Okay, a little bit about Techsoup, in case you're new here. Well, first of all, welcome. It's great to have you here and part of our community. So Techsoup equips change makers with transformative technology solutions and more to improve lives globally and locally. So we do a whole lot more than offer discounts, which is something we are often known for. We also provide support, training, and more resources in addition to community, which we're going to talk about today, to help more than 1 million nonprofits in over 200 countries and territories. So once again, you'll learn a little bit more about Techsoup in just a bit here. So with that, I'm super pleased to welcome our presenters for today. First up, we have Alex Roth. She is the Chief Question Asker and Answer Finder for NPlace.org, the nonprofit place as it's known. And it's an innovative virtual community for nonprofits to ask questions, find answers, and share ideas. And we also have my fantastic colleague here with us today, Stephen Davidson. Stephen's a community manager for Techsoup, and you probably have seen his name, or if not, you will see his name around the community forums quite a bit. So welcome to you both. Thanks so much for being here. And I'm going to kick it over to you, Alex, to get us started.
Thank you so much, Nicole. Let me make sure my screen pops up and everything. If we're good there. Okay, well, good afternoon, everyone, or good morning to you West Coast folks. Thank you so much to Techsoup and to Stephen and Nicole for sharing time and space with us. We are NPlace.org, which is the nonprofit place. And my name is Alex Roth. I'm just one of the community and education directors with our little team. We launched our little community about a year ago, just before COVID shenanigans landed in everybody's laps. And since then, we've been doing our best to accommodate and really pivot, your word of the year, right, to the needs of the nonprofits that have been brought to us virtually and otherwise throughout the US primarily. Our community includes nonprofit organizations, individuals, foundations, consultants, vendors, volunteers, the whole kit and caboodle. It's free. Nonprofits are always welcome to post questions, which I'll show you how to do in just a couple minutes here. The folks that are answering those questions virtually might be nonprofits or nonprofit pros, such as a member of our team, a consultant, a vendor, or it's going to be done via a free webinar, which you'll be able to find through our events section, which I will also show you around with. Any of the consultants and vendors that we work with directly and that are answering your questions are vetted, which is really to say that we've connected with them and we're confident in assuring you that they have transparent pricing and have verified nonprofit resource or references that say like, yeah, this was a positive experience. They understand what nonprofits need and it was a good fit for my nonprofit. We want to be able to share that with you. We want you to know that you're working with the right people through our little community so that you don't spend the precious little time that you have barking up the wrong tree In my past 15 years of nonprofit experience, this has been one of my biggest pet peeves, just being matched with the wrong tools or resources just because it was free or at a discount. And even though I really value those discounts, we know that just because something is free or cheap doesn't mean that it's quality or the right fit for you. We try to fill in that gap a little bit with our peer-to-peer support and beyond that. So that's what we're based on and what we really believe in, getting the answers and solutions that fit you and your nonprofit. And I'm excited to share it with you. So to get started, we have a free page. That's our community homepage where you can ask questions. Everyone's welcome there. If you're ever interested in investing in more one-on-one support through private consultants and coaching, you can always learn more about that. We welcome you to send us an email, but most of our folks are really just going to enjoy that free space, and that is great. We have a little over 700 organizations that are involved with us right now, and we are looking forward to having more join, hopefully today. So to sign up, it's really easy. You can just hop right over to NPlace.org, and what you're going to see are two different options. If you're not sure that you want to share your information with us quite yet, that's okay. Everybody says like, oh gosh, another thing to sign up for. We don't sell your information. It is protected. That being said, you can just elect to explore NPlace, and exploring NPlace is going to give you just, a little peek behind the curtain. You can check out some of the different events that we have. You can see some of the questions that people have asked. What you're not going to be able to see is the direct links for our events, even though they are free. And it's also not going to allow you to start asking questions and engaging in the community until you join. And again, joining is absolutely free. So no cost. You don't have to enter credit card shenanigans, anything like that. You can just go ahead when you're ready, NPlace.org, click join. And throughout this, if you have any questions or problems at all, you can always email us. It's quite easy. It's just welcome@NPlace.org. Once you do join and you've gotten out of the explore phase, you're ready to go steady with us. This is what you're going to see for your homepage. This is, again, the free community homepage. Things that I like to point out to people. In the top right-hand corner, we ask that you update your profile information. This is a lot like other social media sites, but it's targeted to nonprofit stuff. So you're not getting kind of whomped with other information that you maybe just don't care about. When you update your profile information, it tells our community directors and our other vetted consultants who you are and who you might do well to be able to connect with, other people who have been in your shoes specifically. We know that not every nonprofit is the same. The more we know about you, the better resources we can kind of quarterback you over to. So you can do that in the top right-hand corner by clicking on your little face. One of the options for signing up is to do so with linking to your Facebook. So that's how my little head popped in there. If you see your photo pop in there, that's probably how that happened. Otherwise, you do have the option of, personalizing all of that as much as you like. Another area that I like to point out to people, because nobody wants a bajillion notifications extra, right? If you click on this little bell up here, that's going to be your notification settings. And if you don't want to hear about every stinking thing that I post or that other people post on NPlace.org, you can turn it off, no problem whatsoever. You do automatically get enrolled to get a once a week newsletter that gives you just kind of a recap of anything important that happened on NPlace, as well as some of our free upcoming events. That's generally what people care about. So feel free to turn all those notifications off, no worries at all. The other good thing to know about is our direct messaging. That's also at the top right-hand corner. If there's somebody like a community director that you got a question, you can always find us. We're searchable, that little chat bubble right up there. If there's another member that you want to kind of take things offline with and not have a conversation publicly, that's also fine. You can do that right over there. The big thing that people come to us for are our free events. Much like Techsoup, we do webinars as well. Ours are not as in-depth, though it's kind of more of getting that, like 1,000-foot, 5,000-foot view to decide, is this the right thing for me? Our webinars are always geared around a question that's been asked at NPlace. And a lot of times the things that we can't go in depth on, we're going to tell you where to go next. If you're interested in this product or this concept, a lot of times we're sending people back over to Techsoup to learn more about a product or something along those lines. But on the left-hand side of the screen is where you're always going to find our free event information. You can just click right in there. Once you're a member and you've joined, you'll be able to get all of that event link information. Again, when you're exploring, you're not going to have that information. Our other thing that people will use a lot is our community news feed. that's more of this stuff kind of down at the bottom of the screen. It's much like Facebook in that you can share what's on your mind, which is really to say people are either sharing resources that they find are helpful, or they're asking questions. Some examples of questions might be, has anybody used this online bidding software before? Has somebody had positive experiences or any experience that they'd be willing to share with this CRM? Or what are you doing for Giving Tuesday? How are you surviving 2020? You know, when we first started out with the year really going sideways, people wanted to know, like, is anybody using Zoom? Remember the days before Zoom? That was a scary thing. We did some questions about that. So you can ask questions. You also are welcome to answer questions. And then if you just pop on NPlace and you say, I wonder if anybody has any experience in searching for a new laptop, any reviews on that kind of stuff, you can always go up to your top search bar, sorry there, and that's going to give you the opportunity to type in, you know, maybe Salesforce or any topic that might be interesting you, and that will pull up any content that's relevant there. The last thing I want to point out is that you can always search the different members and people that have maybe similar positions to you on your left-hand toolbar under the member section right there. So this is really just a crash course in what NPlace is. We're pretty easy, pretty intuitive, I would say. But again, if you ever have any questions, you can reach out to me directly through that little chat bot up there, or through welcome@nplace.org. So just one more reminder of how to touch base with us, and just another thank you for everything that you're doing. We know that our nonprofits are the pillars of our communities, and while we can't be everywhere at once, we know that you guys are everywhere, and we are so eager to be able to support you and make sure that your good work continues to be done. So to the folks at Techsoup, we really appreciate your time as well and everything that you're doing. Nicole, if you guys are ready, I can hand my screen back over to you or Stephen.
Yes, here, I'll go ahead and share my screen.
Here's Stephen. That rocked.
Perfect. Let's see. All right. Great. Thank you, Alex. Yeah, if you haven't checked out NPlace, definitely do so. There's a lot of great stuff in there. And so, okay, so now we're on to the Techsoup Community Forums. So the Techsoup Forums is more of a place to go to for more technology-focused questions. So where do you get started? From the homepage of Techsoup, you simply, at the top, on the top bar menu, go to Community, and you'll see Forums right there. If you already have an account with Techsoup, you simply just need to log in. But if you don't, you need to go over here to the little join button and create an account with us. And also, once you do have an account with us, we also have a direct URL. Oh, there we go. We have a direct URL that goes directly to the forums to bookmark if it's ever easier, forums.techsoup.org. This is just a screenshot of what you see of the forums, but if I were to scroll down, you would see all the different topics, all the different forums that we have within this platform. The first one you see here is the introduce yourself to our community. So we encourage everyone to first introduce yourself in this forum. Let us know who you are, what your background is. If you're with an organization, let us know what that organization is, what you're hoping to get out of the forums, how you can help in the forums. It gives us a better idea of how we can help you have the best experience inside the forums platform. And so there are a lot of different categories within the technology world. So we have separated the forums into 15 different forums. And I'll dig deeper into all of these in just a moment, but here's just an overview of all the different categories or topics that we have within the platform that you can enter and browse through conversations, ask questions. So what forums are best to communicate with Techsoup? So I already mentioned the Introduce Yourself forum is a great place to start. Myself and the other hosts within the forums are constantly checking and looking for new members that introduce themselves. So it's a great place to get noticed at first. We also have the Techsoup Program Help Forum. It's super useful if you are a customer with Techsoup, if you've purchased products through our catalog, this is a place to ask questions that you would normally ask maybe like customer support. If you're having trouble accessing a certain access code for a certain product and you need assistance implementing a specific product, this is where you could go. We have a customer service representative that is actively in the forums on a regular basis. So I know you can call customer service, you can email them, but this is also a great place to get a hold of customer service. We're checking this every day, but we'll make sure you get your questions answered. The TechSoup technology wish list is a place to let us know if there's a product that you wish we offered that we don't. We have our TechSoup team is checking that on a regular basis and taking note of anything users want to see in our catalog. And then lastly, the TechSoup site improvements. If you see any issues with our site, if you see if you have any feedback as you're going through our website, let us know in the TechSoup site improvements so we can make sure the user experience is as great as it can be. So what forums are best for technology questions, advice, and stories? So as you can see, there are quite a few. So we have first the databases and software to discuss software, apps, databases, operating systems. We also have the design and web building topic to discuss strategies and advice on all aspects of web building, web presence, web design, SEO, analytics, all those kinds of different conversations take place inside that forum. We also have the digital engagement forum, which is basically, anything pertaining to engagement or online community, whether it's social media, email, the use of video, conversations on those kinds of topics occur inside this forum. And if you ever have any questions for, digital engagement, as I know we're all kind of trying to engage with our communities online right now, it's a perfect place to go to. We also have the hardware, servers, and networks forum. It's a place to discuss the physical components of tech, desktops, laptop computers, tablets, the actual physical products. If you're having trouble with those, if you need assistance, if you want to share some stories or information, that's the place to go to. Security, privacy, and safety forum is obviously super important right now with many organizations having to pivot online. It's a place to discuss how to keep your devices secure and virus-free, and what to do if your devices or your systems do become infected. So we have a lot of conversations surrounding that topic inside that forum. We also have the tech planning and policies topic. So it's how do you prepare for a new computer system or a new software? What policies are needed for your staff in that case? Those kinds of specific conversations happen within that forum. And then lastly, the Tech for Good forum is a place to discuss apps, online tools that are doing good for society. And then we also have the Tech Careers, Jobs, and Volunteer Opportunities forum, which is super useful. I think we have a lot of users on a regular basis going in there, asking for volunteers. If they have employment opportunities, they share it there. But not only that, not only are people looking for help, but we have users that are looking to help. We have users posting on a regular basis that are saying, hey, this is my expertise. I have time. I want to volunteer. Like, what can I do? So many times we direct those users to this specific forum. So if you're looking for help or if you're looking to help, this is a great forum to bookmark. And then lastly, the last three forums that we have are more focused on kind of current issues. The COVID-19 forum is obviously a very relatable topic right now. We have a lot of users within this forum sharing the challenges that they're facing as they pivot online, asking questions, asking for advice. And we're also sharing a lot of resources. There have been a ton of COVID-19 resources specifically for nonprofits that have been shared online, and we have been compiling them within this forum. So even if you don't have a question, even if you have nothing to say, I highly recommend you check out that forum simply for the resources within it. Same with the Tech and Disaster Response Forum. How do you prepare for a disaster? How do you make sure your system is safe? that kind of conversation happens within there. And then lastly, the TechSoup Town Hall, which we kind of call the virtual water cooler. If you have anything you would like to discuss, any questions, any stories you would like to share that don't necessarily fit within the other categories, TechSoup Town Hall is where you would put it. And so we have 8 hosts within the forums that are checking and responding and engaging with users on a regular basis, in addition to the Techsoup community and other users. But these are our hosts within the forums. They all have impressive backgrounds. They've all been participating in forums on these sorts of topics for many years. Once you get the slides and the follow-up email, you'll be able to click on their profiles and you can read a little bit about them. But just something to keep in mind is whenever you are in the forums, if you see this little crown next to a user's name, that means you're engaging with a host or a TechSoup team member. And then also, if you engage on a regular basis inside the forums, if you're one of our top posters, you could also earn a symbol next to your name as well. It's a star, giving you just a little bit more credibility within the forums platform. So just an example of how using the forums can be useful and great. We recently had an organization ask for advice. It's a nonprofit art gallery, and they were looking for advice to bring their art gallery virtual, which I thought was interesting. I didn't necessarily have an idea off the top of my head, but it's great because we had many users stepping in, providing steps to take to make this happen, different options to try. So we have a lot of users that are really trying to help you out. So even if you have a question that maybe seems out there, maybe people aren't familiar with that world, a lot of people do try to help you out. And sometimes you don't get an answer immediately. For example, this Red Feather Development Group, it's a nonprofit. They were looking for help with web development as they pivoted online due to COVID-19. They did not get a response. And that happens sometimes, but we do our best to make sure that you get your questions answered. And so one way we do that is through social media amplification. So we put it on the TechSoup channels, but also our forums moderators also put it on their social media channels, just like Jane Cravens, one of our wonderful forums hosts. She shared this post on her Twitter account, and an organization stepped in, offered their web development services, and we put them in touch. They shared emails, and it was a great success. So it's just a great example to show that we are working really hard to make sure if you're in the forums, if you're looking for help, we really try to make sure you get the help that you're looking for. And so that's it. So I have my email here if you ever have any questions in regards to the forums, if you ever have any issues, anything you want to talk about, feel free to email me. I'm always reachable. I'm also always in the forums. So you have many ways to contact me. And that is it. So Nicole, should I pass it over to you?
That's perfect. Yes. Thank you so much, Stephen. I'm just adding your email to chat, so that's nice and available for folks. And I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. So it's now question time. You got to hear from Alex and Stephen, and we're going to move into questions. So I've got some questions lined up, but go ahead, head on over to Q&A. You can see so far we've got one question that was asked there. You can go ahead and give it a thumbs up if you want to see it answered, and other questions that come in as well. Please go ahead and upvote those, and we'll get to those in just a moment here. So let's kind of back up. I mean, what I'm hearing, the common theme here is just the power of community in both of these places, in both NPlace and Techsoup Community forums, is reaching into collective knowledge to get the answers, to get the resources we need. If you can kind of, I'll send this question to both of you, both Stephen and Alex, if you can hone in a little bit more about why these community platforms are so important for nonprofits right now.
Yeah, and it kind of ties in, I guess, my answer to one of the questions that was asked. Looks like somebody, if you're okay with me jumping on it, Nicole, somebody asked if you can
Let's do
search
it.
for NPlace at least, if you can find people based on their region, location, city. Fast answer is kind of. So we are maybe a little bit aggressive about protecting people's information. So you can pop into that member section and find people who are near you. Generally, most of our orgs are in the US, so it's going to be people in the same state as you or within a couple of 100 miles of you, and that will be listed in descending order. That being said, I think the importance of a virtual community, whether it's with Techsoup or over at NPlace, and what people are really starting to embrace, kind of being forced to, unfortunately, with COVID, is that it's not just the people that are near you that have things in common with you or the resources that you can take advantage of and really learn from. And that's what we want to see with NPlace. We've seen it happen already. We're seeing it really grow of people that are in Texas are saying, my gosh, I met this person in Virginia and they have the same type of organization as I do. They're facing very similar challenges. 2 years ago, they kind of jumped through the same red tape that we're jumping through right now. And they were really able to work with each other closely. Totally different geographic areas, middle of nowhere, sitting in DC, cool stuff like that. Similarly, we also had people in the UK that were working with folks that were in the Seattle area. It's just really nice. So I think that's what you get at a virtual community. The strength of numbers and people that you wouldn't see at a normal networking event back when we had those.
Yes, yes, the digital bridge builder. Stephen, do you want to respond, react to that?
Yeah, so I mean, I think for the first question, Nicole, I think it's super useful. The forums is a super valuable place because not only can you go in there to ask questions or share, stories, whatever it may be, there's also a ton of existing conversations that have already happened and you can browse through and look. So sometimes you might have a question or sometimes you're just interested in a specific topic. You can just browse through and there are a ton of conversations that have already happened from, similar organizations, similar users. And similar to what Alex was saying, unfortunately, we can't you can't search for people or organizations based on locations. However, we do allow you to provide that information within your bio. And so, you are able to learn more about each user, read their bio, get the information about them. The story that I mentioned earlier with the nonprofit that needed web development, I'm forgetting where they were specifically, but the web development organization that stepped in was in India. So just like Alex, it's like, completely different places, but it connected them. So, yeah.
Probably wouldn't have met over coffee at a networking event unless you had a really cool networking budget, right? Like,
right. Yeah, not
exactly.
In the works. Yeah.
Flying across the world for coffee. Maybe we'll get back to those days. Me too. Always more coffee. Let's head to this question from Amanda. Amanda asks, can we suggest new forum threads? So I think this is for you, Stephen.
Yeah, well, I mean, as far as threads go, you can post any threads you want. I mean, they do go through an approval process just to make sure we're sorting through spam and such, but you are welcome to start whatever threads you want. And as far as forum categories, we are open to that. I would probably put that in the wish list forum. If you feel like there's a specific category that deserves its own forum, I would probably put it there. But you are welcome to post whatever topic you want. And if you're not sure where to put it, just put it somewhere. And we have all our moderators in there on a regular basis, just we will move it to the right place. So yes, post whatever you want.
Great. Excellent. Let's move to this question from Emily. So it's pretty specific, but I think that's the beauty of what our platforms do, is taking these specific use cases and, pulling the community, asking the community for answers. So Emily asks, how would we connect with other nonprofit orgs with literacy projects, and in her case for Mayan children in Guatemala. So very specific, but maybe we can kind of peel back, like where would you start in Emily's situation?
For the TechSoup forums, I would say just simply post that exact question in the forum, and we would see that. And you know, maybe you wouldn't get a response immediately, but that is definitely the kind of post that we would want to amplify onto our social media channels. So maybe you wouldn't be able to connect with other nonprofits in that specific space in the forums, but if you can start there, we help you connect with them on social media.
Great. Yeah, Alex.
It's pretty neat that you provide that bridge to like the social media side of things too. With NPlace, we're a little bit less direct in that way. I too would welcome that post though, but what I would ask is for a little bit more information so that people that do follow different topics and really have their kind of eye open for special things are going to pay attention to it. So we do have quite a few literacy agencies within NPlace, which I just happen to know because I like to get to know our folks. I think they would want to know what are your main needs. So I think literacy and, you know, are you hoping to provide 5,000 books to children in Guatemala, or is it fundraising, or is it volunteer match type of a thing? Like we try to get into like the nitty gritty stuff like that with NPlace, and we do see people engaging with it. We have recently a whole pile of humane societies that have started working together, and they actually went towards joint grant funding for a project with a major pet care supplier. So far it's going well. I don't know, I have to check back in. Mostly they send me updates of pictures of baby animals, and so I assume it's going well. But yeah, definitely a great question to be able to ask with anything that brings more people together.
Excellent. Yeah, it's great. Thank you for sharing both of your approach.
We may have lost you for just a moment there, Nicole, and if it's okay, when you cut back in, certainly speak over me. I just see one other question that popped up on finding resources, and it's human resources and any advice on those subscription services. We don't really have a subscription service, so Stephen, you should definitely speak to that more. But the one thing that I failed to mention earlier is in our event section, you will see free brief HR and strategy coaching sessions. We host those either once a week or every other week. And those are great ways to ask questions like that if you want to do so kind of privately. They're one-on-one, 15-minute, just real little short guys that you can get in there and ask an HR coach or a strategy coach if you're thinking about going a different path or purchasing a product, or just wondering what the right next step is. I think COVID especially brought some really unique HR challenges, and people just needed to know what to do, what kind of next step to take. So I encourage you to check out our event section. You'll see those as reoccurring events, and you can book your private 15-minute time slot with those folks. It's a good thing to be able to take advantage of. But I would love to hear more about the subscription options through TechSoup too, Stephen.
And I'm not super familiar with the subscription services within TechSoup actually. And I know we have customers. We have Jose, our customer service representative, on as well. So maybe he will be able to answer that via chat. However, this is the kind of question again that I would post in the TechSoup program help forum, and we would make sure that you get the information you're looking for, is the advice for services available through TechSoup, because we have these people are dealing with, or they work with the TechSoup catalog on a daily basis. They know all the products offered through TechSoup. So going there, that would be a good place to start and connect with those people that know a little better about that topic. And I think Nicole's back.
Yes. Hi, a little lapse in internet. Sorry about that, but I see we are moving along here with questions, which is great. So yeah, maybe I'll defer to you both, Alex and Stephen, in terms of kind of where we left off with, and which question you want to dive into next.
I'd love to jump on the tax forms. tax shenanigans are one of my, just total Achilles heel in my thinking about nonprofits. Just kind of as a nonprofit generalist, this is the one thing that makes me want to run out the door, like, gotta go. Sorry. That being said, we have other people that do answer those questions really well. We have a couple of what I would call our finance gurus floating around, and like, they are so happy to see finance questions. I will not be answering those, but you are certainly welcome to ask a question just like that. And you can also search for it. We've done a lot of financial planning and end of year planning and resource listing. So pop over and post it, see what you get. I promise it won't be from me, because I will just tell you to change your name. Forget it. I don't know.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Good stuff here. So let's move to this question. Does either forum ever get into best fundraising platforms for nonprofits?
We definitely, in the TechSoup forums, we definitely have a lot of conversations about the best fundraising platforms, especially with, having all these organizations pivoting online and needing to have a sort of a platform online. These conversations are definitely something we see on a weekly basis, asking for advice. And the great thing too, whenever you go through the forums, there are a lot of, like I just showed everybody, there are a lot of different topics, but you could easily search through the forums. You could search through fundraising platform, and you could probably very easily find your answer there.
That's about the same for our resources as well. Not quite on a weekly basis, but we do have searchable lists and kind of insights and experiences from our nonprofit members. We also have past events that you can view on demand. Every once in a while, we'll do kind of like demo days of different products that we know have worked well for nonprofits. But what we really try to do is lead people through what you need to ask as you're considering those different products. We don't sell any specific products, but we really want you to choose the right one for you. And a lot of the orgs that we're working with are little guys, and just reminding people that just because it's a notable and great company doesn't mean maybe that where you're at right now is the right product for you. So those are more so the conversations that we try to have and bring to the table at NPlace.
Yeah, really make it fit for where that org is at that moment, and tailor fit is important, and I see a lot of value in both of these platforms providing that, because it's going to be different for every organization. Excellent. So how about this question for TechSoup forums? How do you become a host, or how do you become an expert?
So we've been kind of revamping our badge program, I would say, because there are many different badges that we're hoping that users can get. However, we just encourage you for now to post regularly. We are constantly checking analytics through posting. We're checking to see the top posters, top users within the forums. And if you are one of our top users, we give you a little diamond next to your name. So that kind of gives you a little more credibility within the forum. And if you maintain that for a good amount of time, we don't have a set duration, but if you're within the forums and you're engaging, we definitely would probably want to connect with you about, working more in the forums together.
Alex, is there something kind of apples to apples with NPlace in terms of having experts or hosts?
Yeah, it's our experts. Like I said, if you are a consultant or a vendor and you're interested in sharing resources on our site, you can reach out to us through that welcome@nplace.org email. Beyond that, we don't have a diamond. We're not as cool as you guys in that way. But what we do have is kind of like our verified marker for our different consultants. So if they're bopping around there, you know that they've kind of checked through us. But the beauty of it is that means that anybody can pop in and say like, hey, this has been my experience with this. And you don't have to be a pro. You should know that though, that the people answering, they could just be nonprofits. And that might be more of the answer that you're looking for anyway. Sometimes you just want somebody to give it to you straight, and that's okay. I absolutely see the value of having those verified hosts and other vendors and things though too. So that's a nice balance there.
super good to know. And I love this question that came in from Amanda. Which hashtags and or social media accounts can we follow to know what forum posts are looking for contributions rather, like that example that you showed, Stephen?
Great question, Amanda. So yeah, I mean, for the most part, from TechSoup, whether you follow us on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, we are constantly sharing forum threads that need contributions. In addition, we also, myself on Twitter, which is in my slide deck, so everyone will get that. I'm sharing those. Also, Jane Cravens is another one of our moderators here. I'll put her Twitter in the chat because she is excellent and she shares a lot of different threads that need answers. And then also TechSoup specifically, we use the hashtag donate your brain whenever we're putting in, whenever we're sharing forum threads. So that would probably be the best hashtag to follow because 99.9% of the time we are using that hashtag with those posts. Good question.
Yes, and it's right. I mean, as much as you're asking questions, also giving, right? Giving resources, pointing people in the right direction. So yeah, I really love it. So, right? It's a community experience about giving and receiving. So great. Thanks for asking that, Amanda. Let's see, for NPlace, do NPlace sessions typically take place on Zoom or what does that look like, Alex?
Yeah, we're using, a really hip tool called Crowdcast. Believe it or not, we thought one of our challenges would be when we first started, as I mentioned at the beginning of the year, I thought one of my biggest battles was going to be showing people that using Zoom wasn't so scary. And so I looked for a browser-based presenting tool that was very easy for people to just hop onto. Zoom, of course, is the norm now as well. But anyways, we use Crowdcast and it's real easy. You can find the links to any of our sessions through, again, our event section, or you can follow us on Crowdcast. You'll find us at nplace.org there as well.
Super cool. Yeah, it'd be great if you have that link readily available to drop that in chat. So that's at our fingertips. Great. Let's see. And I believe you already answered this, Alex, that you don't need to submit any payment info, but just want to confirm that.
Yeah, that's right. All of our webinars and our community page, that's all free. I don't want to know about your credit card. It's weird. If you want to send me pictures of baby animals, though, like 100% will receive that gladly.
You and me both. All day, every day. Okay. And here's another question. So what happens if you post a question and no one responds? So I know, Stephen, you talked a little bit about this, but what do you do?
So, I mean, like I said, we do our best to make sure you get a response. If you don't get a response immediately or soon inside the forum platform, we will share it on social media. We also have the 8 hosts that are there to make sure that, they're all experts in this, on these topics. So a lot of times they'll be able to answer your question. And if we don't, usually I like to let you know, hey, I don't have an answer, but I'm going to get you an answer. So you're never just left alone. It's never completely silent after you post. I usually like to let users know that, hey, this is on my radar. I'm doing what I can to make sure you get what you need.
Great. Okay, and here we've got this question for you, Alex. Can you tell us about the NPlace Link Up Program Initiative?
Oh yeah, happy to. Thank you for bringing it up. We'd be remiss to not chat on that a bit. So it's a free networking program. You can sign up for free. That one you do have to share some of your information because otherwise networking doesn't work. You're going to share your name and your email, your organization, your title, and it's going to match you up with a whole bunch of other people, not necessarily people that share the same title or service area as you, but I think there's beauty in that. You can meet some really interesting people. The core of similarities, of course, are that everybody wants to learn a little bit of something from each other and what they can do better or any type of, nuggets of knowledge that might be helpful in their world. You can elect to meet somebody virtually once a week. twice a month, 3 times a month, 4 times a month. You can kind of go just nutso with it if you want. They can be as brief as 15-minute chats. If you guys want to stay besties and chat all day long, then go at it. But yeah, it's free. You can find it right at the top of NPlace.org, and I'm going to drop the link to that in the chat here in just a moment as well.
Brilliant. Great. Well, I think we're just about time here. We've had some really fantastic questions, but doesn't have to stop here. You've got some contact info and next steps. But Alex and Stephen, I'd love it if you can just share like 1 or 2 takeaways that you want to make sure people leave here today with.
Thank you. This has been wonderful. I hope that it's as helpful for others as it has been for me. I think learning more about Techsoup is a really great thing for me to know, so I can, again, better quarterback people. If I take anything away from what we're bringing to the table and what you guys are bringing to the table, it's that you're not alone in the challenges that you're facing and in wanting to be able to serve people better and longer, and looking for sustainability in it. I admire anybody who's taking the time out of their day to learn about more resources, and we're here to help you. So please don't be a stranger. Ask your question. Like, as your kindergarten teachers would say, no question is stupid. If it goes unanswered, it just means we're all as baffled as you are. So you're in good company, but we will do our very best to find you the solutions, whether it's in our community or quarterbacking you over to the folks at Techsoup who have a whole bunch of bright minds. So thank you again, guys.
Yeah, some wise final words, and we'll kick it to you, Stephen.
Yeah, I mean, Alex said it perfectly. I was going to say, you're not alone. We, like I've been saying, we make sure you get what you need out of these forums. Between NPlace and the Techsoup Community Forum, I think they're both great platforms to bookmark, keep on your radar, because whether you're looking for technology advice or you're looking for networking or leadership or software questions, I think both of these platforms have everything you need. If you have questions, anything regarding your organization, I think between both platforms we have you covered.
We appreciate those final words there. And just a reminder to everyone that a replay of this webinar will be sent to you along with slides within about 2 business days, more or less. So do stay tuned for your email. We'll also include the resource links that were mentioned during today's webinar. And then just want to leave you with some information about our upcoming virtual events. So we've got one, is it this week already? I can't believe this month is flying by, but we have a webinar on 6 secrets to boost your year-end fundraising. I know that's on everyone's mind. We also have another webinar coming up on cyber security and all about just the alarming trend of cyber attacks on the rise and making sure that your nonprofit is prepared. And then we have another one with QuickBooks and one of our QuickBooks experts all about house of worship and understanding pastor payroll. So do check out these webinars. You can head on over to techsoup.org/community -events, and there you can sign up for these webinars. You can also check out all of our past webinars. We've got them nicely bundled together in a replay along with the transcript and slides. And with that, thank you again to Alex and Stephen for being here with us, to each of you for being engaged and asking your questions, and for being part of our community. So before you leave, actually, once you X out of Zoom, you're going to be redirected to a survey. It's super quick, and that really helps us know what you took away and what we can do better. So please take just a little bit of time to complete that for us. And again, we really appreciate you all. Everyone take care, stay safe, be well, and we will see you around NPlace and Techsoup.
Thank you.
Bye.